College football conference realignment episode 2. Can the Mountain West Conference replace the Pac-12?
You'll be here joined by Hagen and my brother Brady, and today we'll be talking about, as he said, can the Mountain West replace the Pac-12? And by that, do we mean can they become the new conference out west, who is considered at the level of a Power 5 conference, or just in general, are they a Pac-12? So, looking at the 2024 map, this will be this year's in college football, the Group of 5 map. There's a lot of things we can see here. Is that number one? It's just a mess down south, and I can see the MAC and the Mountain West kind of have their own areas secured. Brady, what do you see about this too?
I think all these conferences are mini of the Power 5, but it's now Power 4. Like Mountain West is Pac-12, MAC is Big 10, Conference USA. Sunbelt's SEC, Conference USA, American Athletic Conference.
I think I would say American Athletic Conference has a lot of teams actually on the coast, but those AA. They're the AAC, so I think they would be the ACC because it's only one letter difference. And Conference USA would be the Big 12 because they have some teams out west, sort of. But those two teams don't really have one. But one thing I can see is that the South, as I said, is a mess. Like it's a kind of a war zone down there for those smaller teams. The Mountain West is just chilling out there. They don't really have a competitive market to deal with in these other conferences. And one thing that sticks out to me is that the American Athletic Conference is sprinkled throughout every state down there too, and the Sun Belt is somewhat too. In Conference USA though, they just are very few numbers too though. So let's take a look though at the MAC. This is the current Mountain West Conference. Okay, it includes Hawaii, San Diego State, Sacramento. Is that that's Sacramento State? Or no, that's that's San Jose State. That's San Jose State.
San Diego.
San Diego State, San Jose State, San Jose State, whatever. San Joyce. I can't pronounce it. That's
this
San Jose State.
What's
that? Is Fresno State, UNLV, Nevada, Boise State, Utah State, Wyoming, Colorado State, Air Force, and New Mexico. There we go. Yeah, I can't pronounce some things, but this conference though spans throughout the states of Hawaii, California, Nevada, Idaho, Utah, Wyoming, Colorado, and New Mexico. What do you think about this, Brady?
So you have some powerhouses, not really the
powerhouses of the conference.
Yeah, I'll say that. Air Force, they did pretty good.
They were decent last year. However, they went 8-0 and then finished 8-4, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah they were low scoring.
Wyoming was a pretty good team.
The one team though that sticks out to me is Boise. Boise State though has been not that bad of a team. San Diego State's been not bad. Fresno State was also not bad. UNLV didn't have a bad year. Those two teams didn't have bad years.
So all these teams, I think, have a chance of competing with, I think, some teams maybe in the Power 4 conference.
Boise State, I think. San Diego. See, I think Boise State and San Diego. If I was to rank if I say my top 4 teams from this conference, I think it would. That's not in the order, but it'd be Boise State, San Diego State, Wyoming, and I think maybe UNLV would be my teams to say next year who my 4 competitive teams would be. Hawaii's not, New Mexico's not. Fresno State is somewhat, San Jose State, no. Air Force is a wild card. I feel like Colorado State is too. And Utah State. You agree with that, Ray?
Yeah.
Let's look, though, possible expansion moves, because I feel like the Mountain West could expand. Washington State and Oregon State. Right now, they're in a 2-year plan to play 6 games with them, but this doesn't count for any standings in the Mountain West or anything. They're not going to be in there. They don't have a chance to be in their championship game. But if Oregon State and Washington State do not get any calls to be joined any Power 5, Power 4 conferences, it's hard to say that now, because Big 12 commissioner said he's content with 16 teams, so I don't see them getting added. I don't see the Big 10 adding them because it wouldn't be no point to add the 2. They already got Washington and Oregon. I don't see them adding them. The ACC might add them out of desperation if some teams are leave, but as we just saw yesterday, that didn't work out for Florida State. So I don't see them either, and the SEC is not going to add those 2 teams. I don't see that either happening. So I think their best option is the Mountain West. So if they're to join them, it'd be 2026 probably. But what do Now, Brady, looking at this, what do you think of the Mountain West now with the addition of Oregon State and Washington State?
I think it's going to be more competitive for those top four teams that you said.
Mm-hmm.
Like they might not make the championship because Oregon State and Washington State are bigger schools and
Yeah.
they've dominated a little more because so Oregon State they went like I think 8-4 last year.
Oregon or like 9-3. Oregon State. I can let me double check that, guys. But Oregon.
It's 9-3 or 8-4.
Well, ESPN's already updated, so you can't really see. But
and then Washington State, they produced some pretty good talent.
Oregon, I think Washington went 6-6.
No, I think Washington
5-7.
4-8.
Nah,
but
they had a great start of the year. They were like, yeah. I even had them ranked in my rankings like in a pretty high at one point.
So these two teams can do good, and it's gonna be tough for these teams that are used to like
so
the most competitive.
Oregon State went 8-5 last year. Washington State went 5-7. So I was right there. Washington went 5-7. They almost made a bowl game, but they lost to Washington. So, but this it does seem a little more competitive, like you said, Brady. I definitely see this as I don't know, Power 5. It would be Power 5 worthy, but it does seem to have it just has a different feeling than the American Athletic Conference, just because those two teams were in it. But then if Oregon State and Washington State, then I don't know who would be the other ones. But I feel like though, if we look at Washington State, they went 2-7 in their conference. They definitely seem like they could be on a similar playing level as Boise State. Oregon State with 5-4. I think Oregon State would be leading the pack. How's the Beaver lead the pack? I don't know. But I guess that will be the thing. And if this happens, the Mountain West could potentially expand further because this has, let me count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I'm not cringe, guys. 14 teams. That used to be big, but now 16 teams, now even 18 is big. So could they, because now let's go back to this map we had earlier with the rest of our teams. Brady, who do you think they could be grabbing for?
That's going to be interesting because if they want to become a Power 5 conference, they need to add some, like, schools are not going to be, like, schools like Sam Houston. They're not going to grab them.
Yeah. But there's also a problem like Tulane and other schools. The American Athletic Conference, I don't see any teams going to leave for them. The MAC, the thing about is it Mid-American Conference, yeah. The MAC is, like, secure. I don't see anyone ever leaving them because, like, those teams are just not going to be trying to look for an opportunity to leave their conference. They're fine. Comps USA teams are the only ones, and Sunbelt is fine too, I think. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
The MAC is pretty regional, and like as I said, those schools are not they're not going to want to leave. So I think the two teams that I could see leaving would be New Mexico State and Western Kentucky. Now, Western Kentucky's been trying to leave the Comps USA, I think, for years. They almost joined the MAC, if I'm not mistaken. So I feel like they'd be a perfect fit for the Mountain West Conference. And Conference USA, over its whole history, has had 23 teams leave. So it doesn't seem far-fetched for these teams to leave. New Mexico State would join. New Mexico State went like 9-5 last year. Yeah, last season they beat Auburn. Western Kentucky's decent. Do you think this could happen, Brady?
Yeah, like teams are trying to get their market out, and I think Western Kentucky is a great idea if you're trying to.
Yeah, you get a whole another market, and I think New Mexico State would make sense with you having New Mexico already, and New Mexico State isn't the worst team either, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if this happened, I put it 2026 because I think this would all happen possibly, and so this would be a map then. And definitely Mountain West would then, I think. Do you think if the Mountain West had all this, would you consider them a Power 5 conference?
It's tough. Like, I think I would because you have the teams. I think you have teams that can compete with, like, Power 5 programs.
Yeah.
And, like, we saw, like, teams from the group of 5 can compete because New Mexico State did, like, blow out Auburn.
That was insane. And that was an SEC school. And also, you can see Delaware's out of now. Now, do you think Comps USA collapses?
there's a potential if like 23 teams are left in, they're
Yeah.
trying they're grabbing
Yeah.
FCS schools.
Now, I don't think they would. Now, next episode we could possibly talk about which Group of 5 conferences next. Maybe Conference USA. I don't see them collapsing yet. At least I think they at this point they're probably grabbing. They're still grabbing more FCS teams now. What are those teams are? I don't know. Now, if for those you think it'd be North Dakota State, North Dakota State's fine. They're not going to leave. Like I don't think when you make the transition up, James Madison was a weird one who went 12 and they went 11-1. Yeah, that was a weird one. But we saw what Sam Houston happened to Sam Houston. Sam Houston used to be one of the best. Sam Houston was like one of the best in FCS. They were like winning championships, and look at them. They went only like 4-8. So it's not always the best to go up. But I mean, it is more money. But that's the thing.
Based off the conference you choose.
So comment down below though. Do you think the Mountain West can be replaced to Pac-12 and become that Power 4 or Power 5 conference? And if you made it this far in the video, please leave a like button. Please, it would help. It helps out the channel. Make sure to like and subscribe though if you enjoy this kind of content. And you are joined by Hagen and
Brady.
And this is coming from UK Wildcat Sports Channel. And thanks for watching.